You're watching Valley Vision TV on Comcast Channel 7.
Hello and welcome to Mac and Bob's Maroons Tuesday Night Live. Hello everyone, I'm Nick DeSanctis alongside Richmond Bramblett here on Tuesday, September 27th. Tonight another jam-packed show. We'll be joined by women's soccer coach Phil Benny, field hockey coach Brianna Banks, field hockey alum Lindy Stetson, former men's soccer players Eric Eversole and Grayson Perlman, along with former women's soccer player Jess Welfare. We'll also be joined by men's soccer coach Scott Allison, and as always, Dave Sampson with the meets of the week.
The Roanoke's women's soccer team is 7-1-1, 3-0 in the ODAC, and received votes in this week's NSCAA poll. The Maroons recently picked up wins over Bridgewater 3-1, Hollins 6-0, Christopher Newport 2-1, and Randolph 3-0. In their first 9 games, they have outscored their opponents 21-5. Rebecca Adams and Sarah Valero are tied for the team lead in goals with 4. And in goal, Carolyn Sarbacher has started 6 games and recorded 23 saves.
On the men's side, the Roanoke soccer team earned the 25th spot in the NSCAA rankings this week. The Maroons are 6-2-1, 3-0-1 in ODAC play, with recent victories over Virginia Wesleyan 3-2, Emory and Henry 1-0, and Washington and Lee 2-1. Brian White leads the team in scoring with 4 goals, followed by Johnny Hughes with 3. Avery Makel has started and played every minute this season in goal, coming up with 33 saves in 9 games.
The field hockey team sits with a record of 2-5, but are 1-0 in conference play and have won their last 2 games, including a 6-0 victory over Sweetbriar. In that game, the Maroons outshot Sweetbriar 25-2, and Leon Hackborn picked up a hat trick. Stacy Bechtel recorded 1 goal with 1 assist, while Mariel Hunt picked up 2 assists.
The Roanoke men's and women's cross-country teams placed first in the Roanoke Invitational held at Salem's Millis Spring Park. The men's team finished first with 25 points, 63 points, ahead of the second-place finisher Eastern Mennonite. The women charged late in the race to capture 33 points, just 4 ahead of Southern Virginia in second. For the second time in 3 weeks, Tim Smith and Grace England were named ODAC Runners of the Week, which was announced on Monday night. Smith led the men's team with a time of 28 minutes and 6 seconds in the 8K, outpacing the field by over a minute. England competed in the women's 5K race in 20 minutes and 53 seconds, good enough for second place, but came in first in all of ODAC runners. I don't know about you, it's a little bit faster than my standard 5K time. Richmond will be right back with field hockey coach Brianna Banks.
And we're back with field hockey coach Brianna Banks. You've had quite the season the past 2 weeks. Since our last show on September 13th, your squad again had quite a turnaround. After scoring a then season best 3 goals against number 12 Mary Washington on September 14th, the next day after our last show, your team got the first win of the season in an overtime thriller 2-1 over Stevenson on September 18th. Tell us how enjoyable that was for your players and yourself.
It was kind of like it's been due time. Like, we've been really excited. I mean, that win, you know, having the girls run out and just celebrate was just really, really exciting. I know that, you know, they did score a big 3 goals against Mary Washington. I would have to say that was, you know, one of the best games this season, even though we were defeated. But just coming back and then playing Stevenson and then winning was remarkable.
Now, on Saturday, your team defeated Sweetbriar 6-0, as that was the most goals the team has scored in a game since 2008, and this is the first time that the team team has amassed back-to-back wins since 2007. What do these accomplishments mean to you and your program heading in the right direction?
They just need to feed off of that. They just need to keep it going. It's one thing that, well, the tough thing is we have Lynchburg next, so it's hard to, I know that, we need that win, but right now we're just having that back-to-back was good to have, especially the way we were last year, starting with a win, ending with a win. So having that back-to-back gives them a little bit of hope, confidence, and they're believing in themselves a little bit more.
Sure, and Liana Hackborn in that game notched her first hat trick of her career and the first for a field hockey player at Roanoke since the 2007 season. She was nominated for ODAC Player of the Week and has tied another promising young talent, Mariel Hunt, with a team best 4 goals. Could you tell us about the youth on this team and how these two have made an immediate impact on the team this fall?
Liana Hackborn is just absolutely probably our most skilled player on the team. It's just really fun to watch her be able to move the ball. When she gets into the circle, she just knows how to move around everybody and just takes a lot of shots, which is awesome. Hats off to her for getting that hat trick. We were really, really proud. She had a breakout game, which she needed to have actually to keep her going with the scoring run, I think. So that'll be really nice. As far as Marielle, I think she, just coming in as a freshman, she's still naive enough to she just goes in and takes shots. She doesn't think about who she's going to be, have to defend or who has to defend her. She just takes a shot after shot after shot, which in return gives her goals. And I'm really proud that she's up there in the top scoring list as well.
And as we've been doing the broadcasts online for field hockey, it's been fun to watch Marielle and Liana get into the circle and be taking those shots and just kind of firing away, trying to make something happen.
Right. I think in the future they're really going to work well together. Liana only being a sophomore, Marielle being a freshman, I think it just shows that we definitely will have a lot of offensive attack in the future.
And you have a tough game coming up against number 6 ranked Lynchburg on Thursday, followed by another game against Shenandoah on Saturday during family weekend. How do you prepare for 2 totally different teams in such a short turnaround time?
That's a very good question. These past 3 days have been just nonstop working, basically on strong defensive, plays. Lynchburg, I know we're gonna see a lot of shots. It's gonna be something like Mary Washington, but we also have to take the advantage of those offensive attacks as well. But we've been just, pretty much man-to-man marking all week. I haven't even thought about Shenandoah. That's in that hour practice that we're going to have on Friday. So unfortunately, but I think preparing us for Lynchburg just will automatically prepare us for Shenandoah as well.
Great, and we'll be excited for those games because we will be covering the games online again Thursday night against number 6 Lynchburg. Watch it online with us, and we will be back with field hockey alum Lindy Stetson. We're back with field hockey alum Lindy Stetson. Now, you're a proud New England native of Vermont, playing field hockey from a family that had a strong connection to the game. Your mother was a head coach in the high school ranks. What is it like to play the sport with a mother as your mentor to develop your game?
If you asked me when I was 13, I'd probably tell you it was one of the worst experiences in my life because we butted heads a lot. But after being in high school and playing for her as my coach and winning a few state championships with her and my sister, it was the best experience I could ask for. She definitely guided me in the right direction and helped me in terms of college preparation as well and picking the right school for me.
Now, playing down in Southern Virginia, you came to an area in which field hockey wasn't played in the high school ranks. I'm sure it was very different up north as field hockey is played on a much larger scale at Mount Abraham Union. With that said, what was it about Roanoke that caught your eye, and what was one of your fondest field hockey memories playing for the Maroons?
In terms of coming to Roanoke and picking Roanoke College, it's as simple as I came for a recruiting visit in January, and I don't know if you've been up north before, but it was like -40 with a wind chill factor, and I came down here and it was one of those freak days in January. It was about 60 degrees, and I was sold. I had a great recruiting visit and just loved the school, and there was no other way. In terms of my favorite moment, that's a tough one, because the group of girls that I graduated with were all very close, but also we did a lot of cool things together in a program. It was probably my freshman year, though. We had gotten shellacked by Eastern Mennonite, maybe 5-6 to 1, when we played them at home, and we came back and upset them in the ODAC tournament to move on to the semifinals.
Really cool. Now, you've since transferred your interest to teaching after 4 years of field hockey, and you've also joined the Hidden Valley basketball and tennis program. How are you enjoying the transition from player to coach in a different sport?
At first it was a little difficult because I was being questioned about my ability, but now it's pretty much what I live for and spend a lot of quality time doing. And it's a relationship with kids that you just can't get in the classroom. So it's one of my favorite things to do.
Now, one last question that we ask nearly every alumni, or we try to every time they come on. What is it about Roanoke and Roanoke College that made you choose to come here?
Well, if you can find Bristol, Vermont on the map, it's pretty small. And it's all about community up there. And one of the reasons I chose Roanoke is I knew if field hockey didn't work, Roanoke College would. And I have a family here and a community here just as I would in Bristol, Vermont. So.
Fantastic. Well, we appreciate having you on the show today, and I hope that you can come back again and join us. And we will be back with women's soccer coach Phil Binney.
Be sure to catch Roanoke College sports on Valley Vision TV, Comcast Channel 7 in Roanoke, Salem, Botetourt, Lexington, and Blacksburg. Brought to you by Mac and Bob's, Main Street, Salem. For programming information or schedules, go to valleyvisiontv.com.
We're back with women's soccer head coach Phil Binney. Now, Coach, you've been enjoying quite the season as the women's soccer team has received votes for the third time in the D3 national poll this fall. Your record is 7-1-1. You're 3-0 in conference play. What can you tell us that has gone well so far for the team, and how things really turned your way?
You know, we got a great group. They're playing very hard. They work hard. We got a bunch of players that step up. It's a different player every game. We're not relying on one person to get it done. And so we've just come together as a team, and you know, we're defending like crazy, and we're scoring goals.
And it's been exciting to watch again so far, as we were talking with the field hockey coach earlier, that it's been exciting to put on these games online and to watch them play. Now, Carmen Graves, who was nominated for ODAC Player of the Week on Monday, has enjoyed a breakout season for your squad. She has 9 points, 3 goals, 3 assists. What has she done in the offseason, and what difference do you see in her this fall?
I mean, Carmen's just a tremendous athlete. She's probably one of the strongest athletes in the conference, and if not in the region. Great speed. You know, last year she had an MCL injury, and you know, played with the brace, and through. I mean, she run a track in the off season and came in this year, doesn't have the brace, and you know, her athleticism is just taken over, and she's great on the ball. She's playing a number of positions forward. She's playing up in the midfield and going up top. So. Just really filling in well for us in a number of aspects.
Now, in this year as well, you've had some injuries that have forced you to make some personnel changes. Goalie Casey Moore is out for the season after the Roanoke Invitational on September 11th, and junior defender Maggie Dent suffered a season-ending injury against Bridgewater last week. I know that both players came in great shape, and I know it hurts to see hard-working individuals like that not be able to play.
Yeah, those two individuals worked real hard coming in, and Maggie, you know, found herself in a starting role after 2 years, and Casey was battling for that second spot in goal. We've had an MCL after that and a couple concussions, and every time we've had freshmen and sophomores, juniors stepping in and fulfilling the role and doing a great job.
Now, dating back to September 17th of last season, your team has gone 18-2-3 leading up to this week. Do you feel that your team has grown in confidence stemming from last season's success moving up into this year?
Yeah, we got sophomores that haven't lost an ODAC game yet, and we played a tough schedule going into WNL tomorrow, and a lot of these players. They expect to win when they go out, and that kind of breeds a lot of confidence. I had a great win on the road at Bridgewater yesterday and our last Saturday, and it's just winning on the road and a lot of road games where we've been successful.
And as you said, you have a big week coming up. Washington Lee tomorrow at 4 p.m. on the road, and you come back to Salem on Family Weekend to take on Virginia Wesleyan in a gigantic ODAC showdown. What can you tell us about both teams, and what are you doing to prepare this week to go into those?
Two huge ODAC games for us. Washington Lee, a much improved team, brought in a great freshman class. At their place, it's going to, a lot of challenges for us. Always on the road. And then, Wesleyan, always a tremendous team, very athletic, very deep. Will run a lot of numbers at us and really try to pressure us tremendously. And, it's a big week for us, and if we can get a couple results out of this, we'll be in great shape.
And again, we will have that Virginia Wesleyan game online at maroons.roanoke.edu. Check out on the left side of your video. We will have all the listed games that we have so far for the rest of the week. So put those on your calendar and join us for all of those online games. And we want to thank you and good luck coming up in the next couple games. And we will be back with women's soccer alum Jessica Welfare. We are back with women's soccer alumni Jessica Welfare. All right, so now you being out of school for the first time since you were 5 years old, is it weird to wake up not having to go to class or games or practices?
I wouldn't say it's weird because I still have to wake up and go to work, and after work I have to come back and study because I'm trying to get certified in athletic training and fill out all my applications for grad school, so it's still pretty busy.
Sometimes you wish you were still waking up to go to school?
No.
Now, you had quite a remarkable career playing under head coach Phil Binney. You were a four-time All-South Atlantic Region midfielder for the Maroons and were named All-ODAC for 4 years. You played in the NCAA tournament as a freshman and named team captain as a senior. What was the best memory you have playing with the program?
I wouldn't say there's a best memory. Having a team full of 28-plus girls, you form all these great relationships, and of course winning the games and overcoming hardships. So it's all been great.
Now, as you're talking about trying to get your certification, you're currently working at Advanced Therapy in Salem, which is for physical therapy patients. Can you tell us how your degree and experience at Roanoke College tie into the job, and tell us a little bit about what you do there?
Well, athletic training and physical therapy are very similar, and so when I got that job, it was very easy for me to fall into place there. I interned with them my last semester at Roanoke College, and when they offered me the job, I was really quick to take it. But I do a lot of the laundry and the cleaning, but I also get to work with the patients and help the physical therapists out. So it's actually very rewarding.
And what do you intend to go into kind of after this?
I'm going to try to go to physical therapy school, so I'm going to send out my application very soon.
All right. Now, in applying to various graduate schools throughout the country and working for advanced therapy, you still have a very busy schedule. You also carried an intense schedule being a Division III student athlete, trying to balance your time between classes, practice, study hall, games, etc. How has your experience at Roanoke College prepared you for your next phase in life?
Like I said before, athletic training and physical therapy are very similar, but as I'm working at advanced therapy, I'm realizing I still have a lot to learn. So it's prepared me well, but I still have a long way to go.
Now, being a very well-known soccer player for Roanoke College, do you think you would like to coach soccer in the future? Or are you staying busy with the sport now?
I think I would like to coach my kids eventually, if that comes to it, but I don't know. We'll see. And I actually joined an adult league, a local adult league, so it's been fun working with kids my age and then women that are older, so it's been quite an experience.
Now, our broadcast of the women's soccer game on Saturday will be the first women's soccer game ever broadcast on cable for Roanoke College. How exciting is that for you as an alumni to see your former team kind of making strides and being out in the public more with being broadcast on cable?
I don't know. I think it's exciting. I'll definitely tune into it and try to broadcast it a little myself and see if other people will watch it with me.
Well, we have been excited to have you on the show today. And again, watch us on Saturday when we broadcast the women's soccer game at 1 o'clock. And Nick will be back with men's soccer alum Grayson Perlman.
Dustin Fonder was one of the best all-around athletes to ever don the Roanoke College colors. And while his bread and butter was soccer, he was also well-respected, feared, and even disliked by his ODAC opponents on the basketball floor. Perhaps one degree of pain a player inflicted in his foe over the course of a career can be measured by how much the opposition hated competing against him. And Dustin Fonder's relentless competitive fire places him at the top of this list.
Dustin's right up there with the other great players that I've had, Aaron and Aaron Ewart, Grayson Perlman, the guys in my tenure, in my era, that really set the standard, that set the legacy for Scott Allison teams. He was right up there with those guys in terms of competitiveness and wanting to be successful.
As I look at Roanoke athletics, in my 17 years here, I think I can count on one hand athletes I would consider predators, who were going to scratch your eyes out, we're going to outwork people, we're going to make everybody else better so they can win. And Dustin Fonder would qualify in my mind as a predator.
Fonder's Roanoke College career, which spanned from 1990 to 1994, culminated in his selection as the 1993 National Soccer Field Player of the Year. He led the Maroons to the Final 8 in the NCAA Division III tournament while earning first-team All-American honors under head coach and athletic director Scott Allison.
He was always around the ball, and he was crafty enough with it where he could beat people 1v1, and he knew his teammates very well when he needed their help and how to complement them. That selection as ISA Field Player of the Year was a recognition of somebody that was extraordinarily special to the success of his team.
Well, you take each team, which has probably got 22 to 25 players on their roster, and you times it by 300 some schools in Division III, and whether you're a first-team All-American and the best in the business or the Division III National Field Player of the Year, I mean, that means for all the field players that he was the best. He was the best player out there of anybody in the nation, and no matter where you go that year, he could look and say, I was the best field player in the country.
The three-time All-ODAC first-teamer and 1993 Conference Player of the Year holds the Roanoke College records for points, goals and assists in one season, and is also second on the Maroons' all-time points scored list with 104.
He was a very solid player, and when he stepped on that field, he was a team leader, and you looked at him every day, and you looked in his eyes, and you knew that when you were on the field with Dustin that he was going to give it everything he had, and he was going to stick people hard all game long.
I think anytime you find a two-sport athlete that can excel to the level that a Dustin Fonder has, how can you not recognize him as being one of the best athletes ever to wear a Roanoke College uniform?
Dustin was also a force to be reckoned with on the court. He ranks third in career assists for the Maroons men's basketball team under Paige Moyer, and is tied for first on the school's single-season assist mark.
I think Dustin's a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame because of what he did on the court, and my remarks is him being a predator and just a superior leader and player. And Dustin made plays, and he made everybody else better around him.
The two-sport star was selected Roanoke College Male Athlete of the Year as a senior, and later joined the Maroon soccer staff as a coach for 3 seasons, which has led to his appointment as the top assistant soccer coach at Division I Elon. Dustin Fonder, Roanoke College salutes you as a new family member to the athletic.
If you would like to sponsor this program or advertise on Valley Vision TV, call us at 540-397-1051 or email to sales@valleyvisiontv.com. Remember, you're watching the Valley's only true local network, Valley Vision TV, Comcast Channel 7.
Welcome back to Tuesday Night Live. I'm joined by former men's soccer standout Grayson Perlman. Now, Grayson, you're regarded as one of the top men's players in program history, a 4-time first-team All-ODAC selection, and the 91 Player of the Year within the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. Could you tell us a little bit about playing in the ODAC and what the competition was like back in the early 90s?
Yeah, the ODAC really, I guess, really improved the 4 years I was in school. The first year, we actually won the ODAC with a 3-1 record. And it was a pretty weak conference. And by the end, there were 8 or 9 teams. Virginia Wesleyan joined the league, and it was the play actually really improved over that time period.
Now, a local product out of Roanoke, you played at North Cross High School, where you played with another All-American, Dustin Fonder, who we just watched a Waking Up Maroon Echo video about. That seems like it would be quite a dynamic duo. How did that work out? Yeah,
I went to North Cross High School, which was a very small private school. We had probably 75, 100 boys to choose from. We played against, that year we played against PH, EC Glass, Cave Spring. We lost one game. We were 22, 23-1, and really that was a nice pipeline. After I decided to come here, Ethan Cook, Dustin Fonder, Trey Moore really set up a nice pipeline of players from the Roanoke Valley and North Cross that played at Roanoke.
Now, over your final 3 seasons, you were named to the NSCAA South All-Region squad. You were a team captain for 2 years, also earned first-team NSCAA Division III All-American honors in '91, first Maroon in 6 years to do that. Can you tell us a little bit about what those honors mean to you and what stood out to you as the biggest game when you played here at Roanoke?
I guess I'll address the first question, the last question first. Probably the most memorable game was the last game I played at Alumni Field during the regular season. We played Mary Washington, and we won in the last minute and beat them 2-1. And obviously it was a great victory for our team, but a little bit sad for it to be the final time playing there. So.
Now, Alumni Field up on the Elizabeth campus, something that students here and now really don't see a whole lot of unless you live up there or maybe you have tennis class up on the new courts. What was the atmosphere like playing at Elizabeth campus? Because I know most of us have only seen pictures where everybody's gathered around right on top of the field. A little bit of a different atmosphere than Donald J. Kerr.
It was a great atmosphere to play. The field was not a fantastic soccer field, so it was with the addition of the Kerr Stadium and the play at Elizabeth campus, even it was a step up from that, but the seating and you had people right there at the field was a nice thing.
So is it safe to say you'd rather play at Kerr than alumni?
Oh, absolutely. I was very much in support when they decided to do that. So
now, over your final 2 seasons, you led the Maroons to back-to-back 10-win seasons. That hadn't been done since 1988. What made those teams so special back in there?
I think, probably the most important thing for me was when I got here and working with Scott, he was really committed to improving the soccer program. And if you look at my freshman year to junior and senior year, there was a huge improvement in the quality of play on those teams. And so I guess that would be, from my standpoint, the most important, hopefully, thing is that really the soccer program turned around and started to be, and it really has happened for the next 10, 20, 30 years. Hopefully, we're regarded as one of the top 1, 2 in the ODAC almost every single year.
Now, have you seen anything in the team this year that's caught your eye?
Absolutely. I've caught the first half of the Stockton game and the second half of Virginia Wesleyan with some of the commitments I have with my kids and soccer. I don't get to watch a lot, but I played with some of the players this summer, and it's really one of the nicest teams I've seen in the last several years. They really knock the ball around well. They seem to listen to their coaches, from what I can tell, and I think it's a good group. I think they've got a lot of potential.
Now, have you seen any kind of change in the game since when you played back in the early 90s to now, almost 20 years later?
I think it's a lot. The coaching in the game, the level is higher, and the tactical awareness is quite a bit higher, I think, from the players at this point. So,
now, if you could give any young soccer player in college any advice, what would it be?
I guess the most important thing in decision that I made was who was coaching the team, and I had several other chances to go other places and really developed a relationship with Scott that was important. Very rarely are you going to have a soccer coach that coached you in college be in your wedding. That was the opportunity for me. So I got a good feeling from Scott when I decided to come to Roanoke, and that would be the most thing is make sure you feel like you have a good relationship with the soccer coach.
Now, you've known Coach Allison for a long time. Do you think over the years he's mellowed out a little bit, or do you think maybe he's more intense now than he was way back in the beginning?
I don't know. We were talking about some of the speeches that he gave us, and one I heard about at Greensboro the other day. It doesn't seem to be too much more mellow than what we got.
Grayson, thanks so much for coming down. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I'll be right back with men's soccer alum Eric Eversole.
Roanoke College. Timeless and true. Smart and solid. Practical and professional. Making discoveries about yesterday. Creating visions for tomorrow. Lifted by a winning college spirit. Forging lifetime friendships with professors who prepare you for a place at the head of an operating table or another bright future. Roanoke College. Classic for tomorrow.
Welcome back to Mac and Bob's here on Tuesday Night Live. I'm now joined by Eric Eversole, former men's soccer standout. Now, Eric, hailing from Blacksburg High School, you played under Coach Shelley Buthmal, as one of the most respected soccer coaches in the state of Virginia. You even won the state championship twice as a freshman, as a junior. Could you tell us a little bit about your experience playing under Shelley?
Well, Coach B was a very, very inspirational coach. He cared about, obviously, the game of soccer. It was very important to him, but even more so, he cared about each player and their individually growing as a person. So with that, he definitely wanted to see people grow, and he wanted to see people grow with the sport of soccer as that progressed with their life. So it was very, very good to go play under Coach B and still keep in touch with him and talk to him.
Now, you were fortunate enough to have 2 undefeated seasons in those state championship runs, including a 4-year mark of 85-3-1, which is quite incredible. What kind of confidence did you and your teammates have when you took the field on game days, only losing 3 games?
Well, at Blacksburg, it has a pretty good tradition of being a good soccer school. You never wanted to overlook any opponent, whether that was you were playing an opponent that was superior to you, or opponent that you felt that you were definitely better. But in the end, you want to take each game as it came to you and go with it and try to get the best result possible, which was to win.
Now, coming from such a successful high school program, did you face any major adjustments when you came here to play at Roanoke?
Oh, absolutely. The speed of play is much quicker from high school to college. I think that's evident in any sport you want to play in, whether it's a basketball, football, soccer, and as well as getting used to the program. Each coach has a different philosophy. Luckily, Coach Allison and Coach Blumenthal from going from high school to college, it was a pretty good transition for me.
Now, your brother Darren played for Coach Scott Allison here at Roanoke, graduated in 2004. In what ways did your brother lean you towards Roanoke?
Oh, well, he knew that I was a little bit I don't want to say different, but I was my own person in a decision like that. So he as much as he wanted me to make my decision when I was asking questions, he was definitely pushing towards Roanoke in a good way. So it's good.
Now, you had quite a career playing for the Maroon and White from 2004 to 2007, 2 ODAC championships, 2 NCAA tournament appearances, and the 2006 ODAC Player of the Year, one of the most talented players in the era of the 2000s. What was your favorite memory playing soccer at Roanoke College?
Well, I would consider it playing soccer at Roanoke, but every 4 years, each team's allowed to go to make a trip out of the country, and we were fortunate enough to get to Brazil, and there's a long story behind it, but we had some problems getting out of the country, and it happened to be something wrong with my visa. I don't know why. So, but that was definitely one of the best memories that I have, and something I'll remember forever, because you're out there and you're in a different country with 15 of your best friends. So it was a great experience, and anyone that could go on, and I strongly urge it.
Now, last year the men's soccer team got to take a trip down to Argentina, faced some teams from down there, really got some good workouts in, had a great time. Was your trip similar to the one that the current players took? Absolutely.
They definitely, a lot of the trips are based around the same thing. You go down there to play soccer, but at the same time you want to have a lot of fun, sightsee, be a tourist, but at the same time you're down there to play soccer. So when we were down in Brazil, we definitely got beat quite handily every game. So it was eye-opening, and then you come back to the States, and it's a different experience.
Now, in 2007, you led Roanoke to the ODAC Championship and advanced to the NCAA tournament. The Final Four at Virginia Wesleyan really settled the score with everything. You scored the equalizer and then the game winner in overtime to claim the conference title. How gratifying was that tournament in your final collegiate season?
Well, it being the last season, it's obviously, something that I will remember. I think more importantly was that it was the ODAC championship that we were able to win. So that beats anything as far as team. Being a team and being with those guys that you've trained with and you've been with for four years, that's by far one of the best memories that'll stick with me.
Now, have you had any more experience with soccer since you graduated? Have you gone into coaching or anything along those lines?
No, I play in an old man rec league, but it's still trying to live the glory days, but they're long gone.
Thanks so much for coming down. We really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
I'll be right back with men's soccer coach Scott Allison.
Be sure to catch Roanoke College sports on Valley Vision TV, Comcast Channel 7 in Roanoke, Salem, Botetourt, Lexington, and Blacksburg. Brought to you by Mac & Bob's, Main Street, Salem. For programming information or schedules, go to valleyvisiontv.com.
Welcome back. I'm joined by men's soccer coach Scott Allison. Now, Coach A, your team has managed to fight its way back in Division III rankings this week at number 25. And since our last show, the Maroons have gone 3-1-1 over their last 5, even with a come-from-behind win over Virginia Wesleyan on Saturday. Is there anything that you can attribute the success this season with a 6-2-1 record? Is there one thing that really stands out to you?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, I would have to say pace. I mean, we're a very fast team. I think that we've got depth. The guys going forward can all fly, and I think that puts a lot of pressure on teams. And gosh, our back four have every game they seem to make some small improvements, and our midfield block is getting better and better every day. I mean, it's been a fun group to work with, but I would think that if there was one thing that I have to attribute to our success would be our pace.
Now, a little bit different than last year, where really your defense was your strong point, setting the record for shutouts in a season, every home victory being a shutout. What differences have you had this year, losing all the seniors that you did, bringing in freshmen, having sophomores and juniors step into the lineup?
Well, I mean, it's put a lot more pressure on those the guys that are playing in the back. It's whether they've had experience playing there as a youth or not, or as a club player, it's not the same as stepping onto the college pitch. And I do think that we've had our growing pains, and at the same time, I think it's been a price of progress. I mean, they're gelling into a very, very solid unit. They're tough. They tackle hard. They play for each other. It's been a good group, and I think they show a lot of promise to be able to shore things up as we continue to improve.
Now, last season, your team graduated an All-American defender at Mike Stark. As a senior, worked side by side with now junior Chris Conover, who, like Stark, stands above 6 feet, wears gloves when it gets cold outside, tall, lanky. Do you see any similarities between the two, and do you think you can use him in much of the same ways that you did use Stark?
Yeah, both of them very, very good coming forward. In restart situations, Michael was probably a little more adept at coming through in a run of play, and I think Chris is just learning when he can go and when he can't. But both of them are tremendous in the air. I mean, Chris is a great target, and then he seems to get ahead on just about every throw in and flicking on. And we haven't finished any of those yet, but we've created some half chances and 1 or 2 good chances out of it. I do see that as a similarity. Both of them are great competitors. I mean, Chris is a warrior. He's the kind of kid you'd want to go to war with, and Michael Stark was the same darn way.
Now, this year's team is led in scoring by 2 players who have started a combined 6 games out of the 9 that your team has played. Johnny Hughes and Brian White have 7 of the team's 16 goals. How important is having that depth on your team to the point where almost half of your scoring can come off the bench?
Well, I mean, it's tremendously important in NCAA Division III, and I have to take a couple seconds and talk about what a guy like Grayson Perlman had to live through. I remember back in 1991 we invited Elizabethtown and Gettysburg College to come in and play us in our season opening tournament, and both of those are established Division III programs. And man, player 1 through 13 at Roanoke College could play with E-Town, but players 13 through 20, when we got them on the field, they just weren't quite at the. They were good players, but they weren't quite at the level that the E-Towns and the Gettysburgs had. So we learned a valuable lesson during our growing pains. And I'm sorry that Grayson had to live. Yeah, I wish he could have been around when we had some deeper teams, but. That weekend alone, I think, was probably the biggest eye-opener for me. That we can't just have 13 or 14 guys. We got to go 20 deep. And ever since then, I think you've seen Roanoke College's teams be deeper, and I think we're very, very deep this year. And Johnny Hughes coming in off the bench, and not that he's not talented enough to be in our top 11, but he's really good at he changes the game. He's that kind of player that comes in and really changes the game by his style of play. Drew Clater's coming off the bench this year as a senior, and he sits and watches, and he hustles while he's waiting. He gets in there, he seems to be able to pick things out. So I think depth is crucial at this level, and appreciate all that Grayson did for our program. We wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for his level of play and what he did, the standard he set that attracted other people to come here. We built it with Grayson, and everybody came.
Now, your team selected 3rd in the ODAC preseason poll, currently atop the conference with a 3-0-1 mark. just so far showing that polls kind of don't matter. You also held the same record at Kerr Stadium, and there's been a lot of increase in fan support. More exciting games this season. It almost looks like more fans have come out. What does this mean for you as a coach and your players to look over and see, a few hundred people rooting you on the whole 90 minutes?
No, it certainly means a lot. I think our guys want to play in front of as many people as we possibly can be, and hopefully we're playing an attractive enough brand of soccer. We're scoring goals. We're making it a bit more exciting, and people are enjoying coming out and watching us play. So we're very appreciative. We feel blessed when we've got a good crowd. We had a great crowd the other night.
Now, your games being online is a good recruiting tool, as well as having local alumni still in the area. But now you have some of your games on cable. Can you tell us a little bit about what this means for you and what it was like to see your team on cable for the first time?
It's neat. It's awesome to have us on TV. We're going to try to tape as many as we can and have the broadcast available. Try to get them and keep them on the web as well. And I think it's a valuable recruiting tool. You're always looking for an edge to attract the best players, because a lot of young coaches out there work hard and try to bring in 65, 75 kids a year to play soccer. And you got to try to keep pace, not necessarily bring in as many. I'm just trying to recruit smarter, and you hope that you land with some good players. So any kind of tool that you have like this, the media, where it would be this show, Tuesday Night Live, where the kids can hear about our program, hear from Grayson Perlman, hear from Eric Eversole, another great player who's meant a lot to our program. Having the games online, live, having tape delayed on TV. I mean, it should give us an edge.
Now, having these two alumni in attendance, I have to ask you, what's your favorite memory coaching both of them?
Oh, geez. Grayson already talked about the Mary Washington game. One of the things that he wouldn't, because he's a humble guy, but it was his last game. But we won that game in overtime, and Grayson Perlman intercepted the ball probably at the top of our box and dribbled the length of the field, beat just about the entire team to score the game winner in sudden death overtime, and that's my favorite memory of watching Grayson Perlman play and watching Grayson Perlman excel. Eric Eversole, I guess I would point to the Old Dominion Athletic Conference semifinal against Virginia Wesleyan, where the league had made the mistake of naming somebody else the ODAC Player of the Year the day before, and we certainly let Eric know that. And here he was. We thought he was the best player in the year and best player out there. And gosh, he took over the Virginia Wesleyan game, scored the equalizer, scored the game winner. It was just an awesome performance, and just to see him, just to see his big smile pointing to the crowd after the game was pretty cool.
Now, Friday night you take on Eastern Mennonite at home, family weekend after Fridays on the Quad. Really should be a good crowd, a lot of people on hand. What do you expect out of this Eastern Mennonite squad? When I talked to you last week, you did mention that they're improved now from where they were last year.
Yeah, scrappy. I mean, Eastern Mennonite, I do think we'll probably be a little more skilled. We'll probably be a little more. We'll probably play a little more attractive soccer. But they're gonna have that grit that the certain Eastern Mennonite teams always seem to have. Roger Mass has been there for a long time and does a tremendous job of organizing his team and getting them to believe and getting them to fight. And they've got a front runner in Mitchell Leap, who had a great year as a sophomore. Wasn't he? I think he was hobbled by a few injuries last year, but he's back and playing well. He's got a couple of transfers in that have made a difference in how they play. So it's going to be a tough ODAC game, and I know they're going to be gunning for us. We beat them 5-0 last year.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for coming down.
Thanks,
Good luck
Nick.
on Friday.
Thanks, Nick.
I'll be right back with Dave Sampson for our Meets of the Week.
So Rooney, here at this moment to officially welcome you into the Roanoke College family and to declare you a full full-fledged member of the Maroon Nation.
It's definitely cool to see. You know, we don't have like a mascot, so it's definitely going to be awesome to have like a big crowd. It's going to pump some people up for the games, and I don't know, it'll be cool.
It was actually pretty awesome. We've actually been receiving emails all week about Rooney, and everybody's been kind of anticipating what he's going to be, and I think we all kind of had different expectations, so I was really excited to see that it was the Hawk.
Never really had a mascot before, and it's definitely a new change, and it's going to help the school take it to new levels, especially the athletics.
It gives you more of a reason to cheer. It gives you more of a reason to be like proud of like your team, proud of the fact that you're winning, and it gives you more of a reason to like be loud and proud.
The mascot's pretty exciting. It's pretty cool, as you can see. He's very soft, very maroon, very lovable. He may look soft and innocent, but he's pretty vicious on the field.
It's a personification of what Roanoke's spirit actually is. Rooney's able to bring the students together and join everyone in great school spirit.
Rudy. Thanks, Rudy.
If you would like to sponsor this program or advertise on Valley Vision TV, call us at 540-397-1051 or email to sales@valleyvisiontv.com. Remember, you're watching the Valley's only true local network, Valley Vision TV, Comcast Channel 7.
Welcome back. I'm joined with strength and conditioning coach Dave Sampson as we take a look at our meets of the week. Who do you want to start with?
Let's start with women's soccer.
Women's soccer. Who are our nominees this week?
I've just got one. Big win over Bridgewater College, my alma mater. No hard feelings for Bridgewater, but, you know, I like sticking it to them because I bleed maroon now. My award this week goes to Maggie Dent. Poor thing blew her ACL out, worked her butt off this past summer, and went in on a hard tackle and folded her leg back a little the wrong way. So my meet of the week goes out to you, Maggie. Great job. Great job.
On a side note, aren't Bridgewater's colors maroon and gold?
I think they're crimson and gold, if you want to be more specific about it. Are you testing me? Or?
No, I'm just checking because you said you now bleed maroon.
I do.
I don't know what's changed.
That's because I'm wearing maroon. If I was bleeding, you couldn't tell.
Fair enough.
This was down here on the skin.
What do we have for field hockey?
Field hockey, I saw last week's game against Stevenson University, the Mustang Nation. Not a big fan. Everybody knows that. So I watched Tina Shicaloni stop 20 shots on goal, 20 saves, and I think we only had 3 or 4 shots on goal. So T-Shick, you're my meet of the week. She stepped up again for the second week in a row. My hat's off to her. She did all the dirty work, made a couple big saves right at the end of the game to preserve the victory, and it came down. We got the victory in overtime.
Always the best.
That was exciting. So, Tina, great job as always. You're my meet of the week once again.
Again, this is becoming a pattern. How about volleyball?
Volleyball, I've got 2 nominees this week. I got Kelsey Largen. She had 10 kills and took over the 8th spot all time in digs. And then Rachel Hawkins had 2 blocks and 6 kills in a tournament I believe they had at Southern Virginia this past week. So I know Rachel's in the hunt. Kelsey's always in the hunt. I'm going to give it to both of them this week. I'm not copping out.
Giving away 2 T-shirts.
I'm giving away 2 T-shirts to the girls because I think they stepped up, and it was a team effort, and I think they did a phenomenal job.
All right, last but not least, men's soccer.
Men's soccer, I got a lot of nominees because I've been spending a lot of time with the guys. We do a lot of work in practice. Some of the guys have been in and out of the weight room, been really getting after it, and the guys are having, I'm really proud of them. They're doing the work on the field in conditioning, in weight training, and working on the field with Coach A. So I'm really tickled about them, and I look for good things from them. So I'm going to start with my first nominee, Spencer Martin. He's a mainstay in the weight room, along with Jake Mercer, A.J. Tierce, and a newcomer to the weight room. I told him I'd give him a shout-out, Garrick Dawson. He kind of looks like the Lion King with the locks flowing and whatnot. But A.J. has brought him under his wing, and he's got him in the weight room. He's got him doing the work, and I'm really happy. He's not seen a lot of playing time, but he's doing a lot of the things that get recognized away from the game. But my meet of the week this week for men's soccer goes to Ned Feldman. If you were at the Virginia Wesleyan game, Ned was in the game probably 30, 45 seconds, had a head-on-head collision with one of the Valdez players, and came away with one of the best shiners and then split open eyes that I've seen in a long, long time. Front of his uniform completely red with blood, which, you know, well, no, he still bleeds red. It was red. It wasn't an arterial red, but it was still red.
Okay.
So I give 2 thumbs up to Ned. He put it all on the line, came off with a smile on his face. I saw him the other day. He's got a nice bruise across his eyebrow, nice black eye, and it's fat, can't even see out of it. So how can you not give that kid meat of the week?
Absolutely. There's our winners. Now, Samson, as a strength and conditioning coach, you mentioned the guys being in the weight room. What do you have the men's soccer guys doing as their in-season program? What are you trying to focus on with them now that the season's already started?
It's mainly maintenance work. We got them doing a couple sets of 12 to 15 reps, just trying to maintain the muscle mass they've accumulated over the summer and over the preseason. And again, them and the women's soccer team as well. They're doing a great job. The field hockey team is in there. The volleyball team is doing some good work. And even the guys and girls basketball team doing their preseason work in the weight room. They're doing a little different program. But the men's and the women's soccer teams, they're just doing some pretty much maintenance work, trying to maintain, which is going to help them in the second half of the games and in the second half of their seasons.
All right, Samson, thanks as always. Richmond and I will be right back to close it out.
What makes D3 special is the ability to participate in my team and within the broader community.
The perfect ending to a perfect season.
Being a D3 student athlete has completely expanded my life.
I learned how to lead. I really found a voice.
What time is it?
It's more about the experience rather than just a sport itself.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
NCAA Division III. Discover, develop, dedicate.
Be sure to catch Roanoke College sports on Valley Vision TV, Comcast Channel 7 in Roanoke, Salem, Botetourt, Lexington, and Blacksburg. Brought to you by Mac & Bob's, Main Street, Salem. For programming information or schedules, go to valleyvisiontv.com.
Well, welcome back to Mac & Bob's as we're looking ahead.
Tomorrow, the men's soccer team travels to Danville to take on Averett University, and the women's soccer team heads up to Lexington to play Washington and Lee, with both games to start at 4 o'clock. On Thursday, the field hockey team will host number 6 Lynchburg at 6 o'clock, which we will have for you here on maroons.roanoke.edu. Before they open up the family weekend slate of games.
This weekend, family weekend here at the campus in Salem. The weekend gets started with Fridays in the Quad beginning at 4:30 on the Athletic Quad next to Donald J. Kerr Stadium. Also that night, the men's soccer team squares off against Eastern Mennonite University at 7 o'clock. Coach Allison mentioning earlier, EMU, a real scrappy team. That should be a fun game, always is. Now on Saturday, the women's soccer team faces Virginia Wesleyan at 1 o'clock before the field hockey team plays Shenandoah at 3:30. The women's soccer game will be seen on Comcast Channel 7, Valley Vision TV. Some more big strides for us here at Roanoke College. Already getting the men's soccer team on. Now women's soccer going to get a run.
And again, it's a big game for the women's soccer team, as Virginia Wesleyan, after this week's poll, is ranked number 10. So if it wasn't already big enough being on Comcast Channel 7 and online, it is a chance for the Maroons to face a ranked team and try and beat them and get back up in the rankings after they've been getting votes for the last 3 weeks.
Women's soccer team with votes, the men's team number 25 in this week's poll. It's also family weekend, a variety of events, something to please just about everybody, whether it's hiking trips, comedy shows, psychic readings, concerts, just about everything available here on campus this weekend. You can find out more information by going to roanoke.edu and clicking on the tab for Family Weekend 2011. Our next show will be on October 11th. We'll be joined by men's soccer alum Donnie Smith and Aaron Ewert, also Tim Smith of track and field, and the track and field cross-country assistant coach Carl Blickel will be with us, along with much more. Have to say hi to our good friends Chris Herron and Jeffrey Kissel watching tonight. Hope all's well. Our sports information director is Brad Moore, AD Scott Allison, technical director Reed Hall. Thanks so much for watching. Until October 11th, we'll see you.
Be sure to catch Roanoke College sports on Valley Vision TV, Comcast Channel 7 in Roanoke, Salem, Botetourt, Lexington, and Blacksburg. Brought to you by Mac and Bob's, Main Street, Salem. For programming information or schedules, go to valleyvisiontv.com. For information or schedules on Valley Vision TV programs, visit us on the internet at valleyvisiontv.com. Remember, you're watching the Valley's only true local network, Valley Vision TV, Comcast Channel 7. If you would like to sponsor this program or advertise on Valley Vision TV, call us at 540-397-1051 or email to sales@valleyvisiontv.com. Remember, you're watching the Valley's only true local network, Valley Vision TV, Comcast Channel 7.